lessons are yours.
What is it you do, and what are some projects you have going on?
That's a good question. So I am a financial broker. I am in the financial industry, and I help people basically make, save, and build their wealth. And then I teach others to do the same. So I've got a field force of almost 30 agents that work with me, and I'm building offices now in Toronto, Ottawa, and in Montreal.
What are some projects you have going on?
Yes. So I got a couple of projects actually, because I started this. This was not my first career choice. Let's just say that.
Okay.
I come from a social work background. That's what I did in school, and I started this journey really to get information so I can help the students that I was working with in social work. I was working in the schools, and I recognized that there's a correlation between their criminality, the things that they were getting in trouble with the law, and the lack of financial knowledge and education that they had. And so my first entry point to the financial world was really just to learn, really so I could steal the information that I was going to learn, and then go back into the schools and teach it, because as you know, this is not taught in schools,
Yes, definitely.
right? So that was initially, and then when I got here and I was learning so much, I was like, wow, there's so much things I didn't know about the financial industry. I decided, let me teach a few people. And as I began to teach people, I was inspired and I started. So one of my heart's desires is to go back into the community, teach people in the community. So I'm doing a few projects right now, or that are on the cusp of coming in. So going into schools to teach this, going into churches, right, and going into the community, right. And so I've got a few things on the queue right now. You'll hear about it, Ty, the financial guy. So yeah.
What made you decide to get into insurance and investment management?
So, the story of what really made me get in was my mom. I was able to impact my mom's lives through the education that I learned. So there's something called the tax disability certificate or credit. And basically it allows somebody who has a disability to claim on their taxes and to get back taxes that they have not claimed for the last 10 years. And so my mom didn't know about this, and I asked her about it, and finally, so my mom is Jamaican. Mom, you'll be all right for me to say this, right? So it took a little convincing to convince my mom about this, but she finally did it, and she was able to get the tax disability certificate and get back a significant amount of money and from the government and of her last 10 years. And so you think my mom was happy when you get that much money, over $10,000 back, right? So I was like, wow, man, I'm impacting my mom's life by the education that I learned. I was like, man, I should do this. There's so many other people that can learn about money and how it works. So yeah, I mean, that's why I started, really. My desire to help people with their insurance plans and investment plans and with their whole financial outlook and structure. That's what started it. That initial understanding that I could help people make a difference.
What do you like the most about being self-employed? And what do you think are some of the advantages of running your own business?
Oh, man. Being self-employed. I was an employee, so I transitioned. And I really desire, and I hope that everybody would become self-employed or become a business owner. Two reasons. One is taxes, right? You got to know our tax system, and we as entrepreneurs get taxed differently. We get taxed. We make money, then we declare the expenses that we use to make the money, and then we're taxed with whatever's left over, right? So as an employee, you get money and right away you're taxed. They don't even trust you. Like, we're not waiting. We're taking your money right away. So I like being an entrepreneur because of our tax system. It's a better system to be taxed, and then two, freedom. Freedom. Most people are living a job and not living their life on purpose, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Not having the ability to do what they want to do. And I believe in living life on purpose. I really believe that. So when you're talking about time, nobody's got their thumb on me. I just came back from the States. I was on a trip on a resort. I took 9 of our agents on an incentive trip that they qualified for, and just on the outskirts of Nevada. And it was beautiful. Spent 4 or 5 days there. I didn't have to ask anybody to go, right? We just go.
Yeah.
So being in control of that, being able to drop my kids and pick up my kids from school, as a black father, that means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? It means a lot to me, and I'm very proud of that. I dropped my kids off this morning. I'm gonna pick them up at 3 o'clock, right? And that's important for me, being in their lives and having that control. My kids are, so important to me, and investing into them and being there, being present, is most important for me. Tomorrow, my son has a football tournament, and I have it in my schedule. Football tournament, go watch him play. So I couldn't do that at a job. I couldn't do that at a job. So I can go watch him. My daughter is very involved in the arts. She just said she got picked for her play again this year. I get to watch her do all those things on my time. And then lastly, the freedom to make as much money as you want, right?
Yes.
Money's not everything, but it is an access to be able to live the life the way in which you want, and gives you more control over your life. So usually as an employee, you're capped, you're limited, you have a ceiling. You're not paid what you're worth, you're paid the position. And so my job as an entrepreneur is to obviously help my clients as much as possible, and my teammates, and by that we'll make profit, and as much profit as I so choose to make, so I can pour back into communities and people and do the things that I want to do in my life.
What would you say to those out there who might believe insurance and investments aren't important or necessary? Especially for all the young folks.
Yeah. So one, why is insurance important? Is that I believe the most important asset that you have is your life. Okay? Our ability to earn income is the most important thing. If we can't earn income for whatever reason, we're disabled or we're sick, if we can't bring in income, we can't do the things that we need to do in order to bring in income, how's our life going to shape up? How's our financial future happen? So that ability to earn income is important. See, I look at ourselves as ATM machines. I'm an ATM machine for my family. I'm an ATM machine. Meaning I go out and work, I come here to my office, I go help people, I help my teammates, and I spit out money. I spit out money. Give you a little a quick joke. Yeah, last night I told I was gonna make salmon for dinner. My daughter goes, "Oh, I don't want to eat salmon. Why don't you ask us what we want to eat?" You know what I said to my daughter? I said, "When you go out and work and make your own money, you can decide what you want to eat. But as for now, I make the money, so I'll decide what we're gonna eat and what we're gonna cook." Right? But see, like, I make money. So I'm an ATM machine. I spit out money. What happens if this ATM machine gets injured? Something happens to this ATM machine. That money stops producing, and then what happens to the family? What happens to the bills? Do they stop?
Nope.
You get it?
Yeah.
So we need to protect the most valuable asset, which is yourself. Because life happens. You don't know what's going to happen. In 2007, I got in a car accident, a rollover. I was driving my mom's vehicle. I didn't know it needed repairing. I was actually doing a fundraiser for a charity that I was doing at that point in time. And so my family, we're all close. I went to my mom's house. She wasn't there to get the van. Picked up the keys, left my car, said, hey, I'll be back in a few hours. I took the van, I'm coming back. Didn't know while driving that the van needed servicing. The ball joints weren't secure. On the highway, I flipped 4 times. The ball joints axle snapped, and my tire snapped. And on the highway, I flew 25 inches from the road and fell upside down. Flipped 4 times. Just a miracle that I'm actually in front of you right now. Life happens. You never know. When I woke up that day, I didn't think that this was going to happen. You know? But I survived, thank God. But life happens. So you need to protect the most valuable asset. That's the purpose of insurance. Right? Whether it be life insurance, critical illness, disability, any type of insurance on you is important because of those things. Right? For young people, why is it important? Because you're young. And when you're young, you are healthy. Okay? You're young and you're healthy, so it's cheaper or more cost effective.
Make sure it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper when you're young,
yeah.
right? So I'm 41 or turning 41, right? Yeah. Insurance on me is more expensive.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to do it when you're younger. Why? Because you're going to pay less rates. My kids are insured not because I think something's going to happen to them, but guess what? They will pay those same rates for the rest of their lives. So why would you want to wait till you're older when you quote unquote need it to pay more for something you could pay for when you're younger? So that's why I tell young people, get it. It's much more cost effective to do when you're younger, right? Investments, you should get investments immediately. I mean, I hope every 16, 17-year-old, if you're 18, you're listening to this, man, start saving, but most importantly, invest your money in a place that the money is growing. So let me ask you a question real quickly.
Okay.
You work hard for your money?
Yes.
Yes. Do you want your money to grow as hard as you worked for it?
Most definitely.
Most definitely.
Most,
right?
Yes.
So is your money working hard for you right now?
I just started.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty. That's why. You know? Start early.
Yeah, but you can see that, right? You can see what I just asked you answers the question. I want my money to work hard because I worked for it. So I don't want it just to be over there on the wayside. I want it to invest it so it grows, it produces more money for me. That's the whole purpose of investing, right? Being smart with it. So why should you start young? Because there's a rule called the rule of 72. Einstein made it famous, which Einstein said if you take 72 divided by the interest rate that you are receiving, it will tell you how quickly money is going to double. Get me? Okay. So 72 divided by 1 is 72.
Yes.
So that means if you're getting 1% with your rate of return, now what do you get with a regular bank account? Do you know? Usually less than 1%. But you got like places like Tangerine and all these places that will give you more than 1%. But let's say you get 1% on your money, which is what most people get in their bank account, right? It's going to take 72 years for your money to double.
No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
You see what I'm saying? So let's say you put $5,000 into the bank account. It takes 72 years for that money to turn to 10,000.
What is that? $5,000, 10. It's not worth it.
So you have 72 years to wait for your money to grow?
No.
Exactly. So the reason why somebody needs to invest and know what to invest and where is because you want your money to grow faster, right? So compound interest is your favor when you're young because you have time for that money to grow and develop and grow and develop and grow and develop and grow and develop. So you can become a millionaire very easily when you're 16 if you just start saving early and putting it in the best place. That thing's going to compound and grow. By the time you're my age, you're laughing. It could be $25 a month. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Just start. Start with the discipline and then grow. As you grow, you add it, but you allow the money to do what it's got to do automatically. If it's put in the right place, right, then it's going to grow automatically for you. Most people do not retire now on time at 65. When
it's like 75. I see 70, I see like some old.
And the reason being is they don't have enough money saved up. If they were to stop working,